everybody, this is Dewey in Nashville. I wanted to give you a quick update on the garden. I'm going to have to be quick because I got rain moving in and I don't have a whole lot of battery. So a few just kind of overview things. As you could probably tell from the last one, I had that cucumber beetle infestation, and that is for the most part done. But now I've been dealing with blight on the leaves, and I got a tomato plant that's been defoliated. So not a whole lot of good news, but things are actually kind of going pretty well. You can also look on my video and see a self-irrigating planter update that I've got. So I get started and kind of show you the plants. The zucchini here is doing pretty well. The blight didn't really hit him too hard. He came back from it pretty well. He lost quite a few leaves, but he's coming back. The cucumber plant is actually starting to kind of grow. He's putting off some new shoots. Still a little measly plant there. This pepper is one of the gems of the backyard now. I think he's got some fruits growing in there. And let's see if I can find one. I'm having trouble getting one on camera. But it's a good sized plant, so those fruits should really start to go. This is what I'm worried about now. As soon as the beetles and those squash bugs left, had blight that showed up, and you can see where I've had to remove some of the stems. But now, look up here, it's twig land. There's not many leaves, and so I'm wondering what happened to all the leaves and stems. If I had something kind of blow through and eat them all, or if they don't look like they fell off, so apparently something had to have eaten them. Still growing and putting off new leaves, and maybe he'll put off some suckers to replace the old leaves. So we can only hope. He's doing real well. Got extra flowers up there. Still got the leaves down here. Maybe they didn't like the old ones, and he's putting off some new suckers and stems there. So got my compost. Just mowed the yard yesterday, so mixed it in with the compost and water it down and let it decompose over the next week or two. Got my worm bin back there really going good. Those wood slats I had over it did not do so well at keeping out the flies, so it became more than just a worm bin, if you know what I mean. But as long as it decomposes and they leave their droppings in there, which they should, then I'm not too worried about it. The cantaloupe plant took the worst of the blight. You can see he's real stringy. He's got leaves here and there, but not a whole lot of flowers to speak of, or leaves for that matter. Does have this new stem coming out, and I'll need to move that to get it more vertical, or maybe I'll just run it up the pole there instead of running up the net. Try and keep it away from the plant that's not doing so well, so whatever blight's on there won't transfer to the new leaves. Strawberries are growing gangbusters. They're sending out runners all over the place, and it's kind of sad because I worked up with the plan I want for next year, and I'm going to have to move these. This bed is probably not going to be here because it kind of obstructs any other beds I want to put because it's smack dab in the middle of everything. So I'm going to have a fun time moving those strawberries. Hopefully they'll all survive. I'll probably try and do it this fall so that they can root again over the winter. Potatoes are going pretty good. I'm trying to fight off the blight. I'm using neem oil, N-E-E-M, and it seems to be holding it off pretty well. It works a lot better as a preventative than a treatment once they actually have blight. You can see kind of the same thing on the pepper. A few turned leaves. There's a lot of leaves on the ground too. So all in all, not a pretty sight. I'm glad to get rid of the beetles, but as soon as one thing works out, another thing rears its ugly head. My blackberry, blueberry, and raspberry plants are doing great. That blueberry plant right there is not doing so hot, but I just planted them, so I'm expecting this to be a 2 or 3 year process. This one's just sending up new branches all over the place. And this raspberry here is just spreading. I'm going to need to put a cage or something back here to keep it contained for the time being. Got a good update on the cucumber plant. Once the beetles left, started putting out new fruits, and I've picked a couple of them. Still not out of the woods yet. Whatever's getting it pretty good. So it's actually growing. I wouldn't say growing anymore, but it's putting out fruits. So we'll see how well it does for the rest of the year. I'm not expecting a whole lot from it, although it does have a pretty good looking cucumber there starting. I'm just surprised with all the beetles. I've kind of given this thing up for goners as far as getting any production out of it. My strawberry plants over here, I'm going to try and get that raised bed, get another raised bed built that's going to be dedicated wholly to strawberries, so that I can get these guys a better home, because you can see they're not liking it too much where they're at now. And I don't know if that's a disease or if that's the planter itself, but some of them aren't liking it too well. Lost one of my green bean plants. Maybe a disease too. Same thing, they got that. I don't know. And this one's going pretty well, but still see how those leaves look. They're not looking too pretty. Same thing with these strawberries over here. Some are still going pretty good, some are not. So I'm going to try and get them out to a place where they can really take off. Tomato plant, the neem oil, I don't think did a whole lot for it. It's still got a lot of leaves from the new shoots that went up, but you can see even they're starting to turn brown. The tomatoes themselves are actually growing, you know, and turning, but they're not turning to full color. I think another offshoot of the disease that got it, fungal infection, it seems like. This tomato is doing pretty well. You can see it did get a little bit of blight at the bottom. You can see some of the brown leaves in there too. I tried to put a Christmas ornament that was red and didn't realize it has to be solid plastic red, because rain will wash the red off if it's just the metallic, or the metallics had another coating of red on it. But this is actually doing alright as far as new growth in the top. It's putting off a lot of new stuff, buds, stems, so I may get a few tomatoes off this plant yet. Not a total loss. My pepper there is fighting to survive. I may transplant it into that raised planter on the other side of the house, see if I can get it to survive. His brother died a pretty long and painful death. I should have just pulled him out, but I was hoping he could maybe survive like this. But I may transplant him and see if I can get him going. And there's my strawberry plants, still not doing too hot. Those were actually the ones that I was hoping would survive, because they were doing the best, but apparently not. So I'm gonna need to get that raised bed built here pretty quick, so I can get these babies in their new home, and hopefully they'll grow a little bit better than they have been so far. So that's the update. It's starting to sprinkle and rain, so that's my cue to get inside. Plus my phone's been warning me about battery issues the whole time, so I'm probably gonna have to sign off anyways, whether I want to or not, here in the next minute. So this is Dewey in Nashville, reminding you that you can plant the seed, but God will send the harvest.